When I got in a wheelchair, the whole world looked very different on me. The whole world looked with a point of sympathy. A lot of limitations were placed on my head. Then I started getting aggressive. Then I started getting angry at life. Then I started playing the blame game at life. My aggression was, it was deadly. And I was done. I was dusted. I was put on the ground 6 feet deep. And I was like, dude, I either close my eyes and stay here or I have to do something.
Welcome to the Monk with Braids podcast. I'm your host, the Monk with Braids, or Lighthouse, whatever you'd like to call me. And as you guys know, I say this in every single introduction. We're a podcast that brings amazing, inspirational people with inspirational stories. Today we have Sujith, who's beaten the world record for the largest GPS drawing done by an individual. He's a 3-time TEDx speaker, a level 3 personal trainer, and winner of the most inspirational personality, and he's a rapper. Sujith, welcome to my podcast.
What's up?
Thank you so much for coming here. While I see all these amazing things you're doing, while I see all these accolades and everything, I want to know who is the person behind the story. Your Instagram handle is the Sujith story, but who is Sujith?
First of all, man, an absolute pleasure, and I love the name, the Monk with Braids. I know even before the cameras were on, I was asking you what's the story about that, and it's like a very amazing, inspirational story. And so Dubai by the Storm has been a lot going on lately, and I'm very grateful for it. And the guy behind it, if I have to give it to you in simple lines, I would say somebody who is very driven, very aggressive, and very, very mindful.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking like what defines me, and people ask me like, who are you, right? Like, and it's not like, oh, my name is Sujith, I'm born and raised here, I'm 25, whatever. That's not the
identity.
thing. Yeah, it's about who you are, right? Like, and what kind of person do you identify yourself as? And I can genuinely say I am a person who's very driven, who's very aggressive, and who's very mindful about things. Yeah.
Before anyone cancels you, what do you mean by aggressive? Let's clarify that a little bit.
With my approach, like I know I'm a very extreme dude. Like, you know, generally speaking, I'm not really a softie in certain things. You know, for some reason I can take a lot of hard hits. You know, it's not just because of the accident. I mean, accident probably triggered that part in me, but then over a point of time, I think I've just become a guy who's most people I know, and I generally like to believe it as well, but the most I know who I can take a hit, and I'm very aggressive in my approaches, as in I'm very extreme. If I want to get something done, no matter how it is, I would get it done. Yeah, like for example, there are days, I'll give you a couple of examples, right? There are days in the gym where I'm working out, I'm literally feeling my back breaking, okay? Like I could tell, and I have support of guys helping me, you know, to stabilize my back, and I'm doing bicep curls, but I can really feel like it's as the session is going intense, I'm going crazier, you know, with the weights. And at those moments, I don't care if my back breaks. At that moment, I need to do my reps. That's one part of it. This is a mentality part I'm talking about, right? In 2018, I pulled a car in Nebraska International School with the Chris Fade show.
What?
Yeah, I pulled a car.
You pulled a car?
Yeah, so I was planning to pull a car just for a stunt, like, you know, just to do it, because someone in 2017 in Dubai Muscle Show, they were like, hey, you're also, like, I was into gymming and all back then, and the physique was pretty evident. Yeah, but I'm 8 months off. So guys, FYI, this is not my actual physique. I'm coming back on his podcast after 2 months. That time you should see it again.
For sure.
And yeah, so the guy just joked like, you know, hey, you should do something. And he's a strong man in Dubai. He's an Emirati strong man, and he pulls cars and trucks with his hair. And I was like, dude, pulling a car, are you mad? Like, you know, that was the thought in my head. And in 2018, I thought, why not? I was like, let me try it out. And I called my friends, and I'm like, I took my car to Moyesna, and I pulled a car, and I was able to pull it. And I was like, dude, this is too easy. I have to up the game. And I added one more car with my car.
Holy shit.
And I pulled the cars. And then I called Chris. I was just chatting with him. I was like, dude, I'm going to do this just for a stunt. He's like, well, if you're doing it, why don't you do it with us in Virgin Radio's 30 days, 30 schools program? And I was like, cool. And so I ended up pulling the car. But what people don't know is, so I was so determined to do that event. Even though the first time I did it was easy for me, it was back in like 17 or 18 beginning. By the time this conversation is happening, it's towards the end of the year. And when I tried to do that again, it was like a freaking rock that wouldn't move, these cars. I gave it my everything, which means I used to almost pass out every day in Mohesna doing this. I used
Wow.
to secretly take my car without my mom and all dad knowing because they would never approve of it. And I would take it to Mohesna, I would pull these cars and I would come back home dead, right? And I used to pass out, literally pass out, and people used to throw water, and I used to get back at it and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again until it started working well, right? And on the day I pulled a car that weighed what, like 1,250 kilos.
Insane.
And so for me, yeah, for me, aggressive as in because I could be very, I don't know, some people would take it offensive on the how level of aggressive I am, but I just know if you have to get things done, that's the approach towards it. I think that's the mindset that has helped me come this far as well, I feel.
I want to know, bro, why? Like, and I really want you to think about this. Like, you're doing all these like amazing things, this car, like passing out and still going.
Yeah.
Not being in a position where things are like the easiest, but still like just pushing and pushing and pushing. Why?
I don't have a choice. I'll tell you why. When I got in a wheelchair, right? When I got in a wheelchair, the whole world looked very different on me.
Yeah.
The whole world looked with a point of sympathy, a point of some was empathy, some was sympathy, but a lot of sympathy. A lot of limitations were placed on my head. Today, I know for a fact, as long as I'm in a wheelchair, I have to give it my 110% or 150% to be equivalent to someone's 110%.
Yeah.
I want to be out there. I want to make an example. I want to make an example to people. For some reason from my life, I'm able to do it and I'm able to do so much. Why can't you? Why can't you change your life? I'm very driven. And I said about mindfulness is because I genuinely like people to change their lives for good. I'm an underdog. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I didn't have it given to me. I wasn't handed over it. And not even this attitude, like everything just built over time to tenfolds better. And I know a lot of people out there who are capable of so much more. They're capable of doing great things, men, women, children, but they lack this confidence. They lack this, they're insecure about certain things. They're seeking validation. There's so much of it. Like these are just few things I've told you. And I need to work very hard because this is something I feel this is one of my purposes in life, by the way. And there's an incident when I really felt that was this speaking and, doing something good in life or making an example out of it. I'm not perfect. I've told that over and over. I have my own flaws.
Of course.
But when I am in my
We'll discuss
zone,
that today. Don't worry.
Sorry?
We'll discuss the flaws and the
We'll
weaknesses.
discuss it all.
of that.
And so when I saw people were changing their lives or they were making decisions and they were DMing me at one point of time, I was getting a lot of that. They were DMing me and they were messaging me on Facebook that, I did this, Sujith, because I saw you doing this. I saw you speaking about this. And I wanted to ask you some more things about it. I started joining the gym because I see you're still at 11 o'clock, even though you're dead tired, you're religiously going for it. Then I asked myself, why can't I? So, I want to set that example. I have to reach in that certain point. And I want to do this for my family. I want to be in a better position so I can give my life and to my family. And I cannot give it to them unless I get there. So the minute I get there and I work and I give everything I have, and when I get there, I'll be able to give a great life to my family, great life to people around me. And I will be able to help people without questions asked. Why not? There is so much to give. There's so much to give. There's so much to get. People are just so scared in that balance that everyone is grabbing or everyone's taking.
Yeah.
Why?
So I would have what I really love about what you're saying is that, there's so many things I love, but a big part of it is that you're doing it for something more than you. Like you see yourself as you're a small part of society, but an integral part nonetheless.
Right.
And I love that you're talking about doing it for your family, doing it for, so much of what you do is giving. And do you think that's what motivates you to some extent?
I'll tell you what, it didn't start as giving.
That it's more than you. It's bigger than you.
It started with proving people wrong. Like I was done at one point of time with everyone telling me you can't do this, you can't do that. So I just went mad aggressive. I used to wheel from Sharjah all the way to Dubai just to work out in Business Bay. And I've done mad things. I've like the way I used to work out, the way I used to try in everything. Like physical limitations was a problem. Like people just don't think about gym. No, when I mean that, it is not easy for me back in the day to actually physically go and push myself to get a physique, to people to start recognizing, noticing it, to invite me to be a speaker, to start, answering questions, talk about my story. There's a lot of journey. It's not just about working out, but it started there in the gym.
Yeah.
That confidence brought me where I was ready to die. I was ready to kill myself in the gym.
Yeah. with everything that you're going through, and it started off as like something that you do, and then it became like, I'm doing it for my family, I'm doing it for...
When I got there and I started seeing results were happening, life was getting better. Because for the longest time it wasn't better. Like from 2013 till 15, it was a tough, very, very tough phase. Believe me, I've been through hell, I think, those years. And those 3-4 years, I already passed through, I don't know, 14 surgeries, so it was not easy. How many months in the hospital? It was a lot of months in the hospital.
14?
Yeah, I've had 18 surgeries till date.
Oh my
And
God.
14 of them was done in this time period. And when I came back, when I started seeing life was getting better, gymming was happening, I was asked to be a speaker in certain shows, and people are recognizing and people are getting motivated by me. And then one incident that changed my life was when I was in Dera City Center, and I saw this. Actually, that was one major incident where this lady comes to me and she's like, "Aren't you Sujith? I've seen your interview on Asianet radio, and I just want to say you're very inspiring, and I sent your videos to my nephew who's in a wheelchair."
Oh.
And she broke down. For the first time in my life, I think I saw a grown woman breaking down in Dera City Center talking to me because she sends my videos to her nephew who just had an accident. I thought to myself, dude, like, that was a very emotional moment for me. That was a very, that was something
now.
that just got stuck to my head. And I was like, I asked myself, dude, what did you do that you deserve such goodness, from someone who, like, your story helped motivate someone, and she's never seen me. It was like by luck, she just saw me passing by Dera City Center. And then the messages I started getting, the DMs I started getting, of people telling me their most personal stories, the most personal stories, and asking me for a solution. Like things you wouldn't probably tell anyone.
Yeah.
And I have asked a lot of people, why are you asking me this? They're like, for some reason, I feel you might have an answer to my problem. So when I found myself in a position that I could actually guide someone to do something right or make a better choice, why would, I felt so grateful in life. So I felt somewhere my purpose was driven there, and that's why I love to do it. That's why I keep pushing. So if I stop, believe me, I know at least I'm not saying there are thousands of people watch me, but I'm for sure I know that at least some 5 or 10 people out there would be like, damn, if this guy gives up, then what hope do I have, right?
Yeah.
So, but it can also go the other way around. If this guy is doing it, then, damn it, I can do it. And I know so many people who have
like that, bro.
Done that,
I feel like that with you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, though.
It is.
Like, it's so much freaking pressure for you to be like, have all these people that count on me, and you've had so many journeys now.
Right.
Well, I know we're gonna have to ground ourselves and go back to the story and back to everything, to the journey. But how do you deal with this pressure of having to be that inspiration for people, having to have these answers for people because people think that you just know, and for you to have so many journeys as a rapper, as a trainer, and everything you want to do in your life, like, that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of journeys to go on.
That is, but just to pinpoint one by one, when people ask me certain things, I genuinely, with my whole heart, I really think about what to answer them. Because what I say can be a life-changing, can either give them hope or it can make them feel like, I don't know where else to go.
Pressure, bro. That's so much pressure.
Thankfully, I feel so far I have done a decent job.
Yeah.
At least thankfully, I think I've done a decent job. And I try to help as much as, because why not? Like what? I have nothing to lose. But somebody wants to change something in their life. And, they probably want to do that for the longest of times. And they don't know how to. And probably one question to me, and if I can tell them the right thing, and I really try to tell them the right thing, or what I genuinely feel is right in my heart. Not for me or for them, but I genuinely feel this is the right way to do things. And that's what I tell them.
Yeah.
And the pressure. This is the funny part about the pressure thing, right? So what is the point of life if you're not doing your absolute best? And I'll tell you what, I genuinely believe 99.9% in like the actual dot don't do what they are capable of doing.
100%.
And why I say that is because
I agree.
In a freaking wheelchair, I've done a lot of stuff, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a day job. I try to do a decent work over there.
Yeah.
If I have a gig or speaking, I have that. I have that in plan. If I'm writing music, I'm trying to write music. This is not like every day. I'm not like allocating time for it, but I'm telling you in a general aspect. If I have to meet some people for some meetings or get creative with my content to post on IG, and try to be a better role model by the day, there is a lot of pressure. But is it possible? It is possible, because I remember uh, someone in a movie, I think it's a movie or something, or in a podcast, I'm not sure, it's ages ago. The guy asked, end of the day, when you go to bed, you look in the mirror and you just ask yourself one question. See, dude, Sahil, I can lie to you, you can lie to me. We both cannot look in the mirror and lie to ourselves. Like, even if we say any
Facts.
lie, for inside, dude, that is not the actual truth, right? But I can be
Yeah.
that good of a actor that I could lie to anybody in their front, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back in the mirror and you look in the mirror, end of the day, and you ask yourself, have you given your absolute best?
Yeah.
And that answer will tell you it will tell you why from so many years or so many months people have been sulking on why they have not got their goals, why they have not got that body, why they have not got that job, why they have not got the place they want to be in life.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, when you go back home, ask, and I'll tell you something, this is a funny thing about life, right? You feel that you are doing a lot.
Yeah.
We feel we're doing a lot. Go back home, end of the day, and just literally write down the things you did. I woke up, I had my breakfast, I probably chilled for a bit. I did work from 9 to 5, and then what you did. And if you feel you have a whole productivity, after you write that like for a week,
You see
right,
how much you've
you
actually doing.
see how much you've done.
Yeah.
And then be like, dude, what have I done? 24 hours in a day. I slept like 9 hours. I just wasted chatting, watching Netflix, YouTube for like 3 hours. I did my 9 to 5, which was like a good amount of hours.
Yeah.
And what else did I do? And then why are you complaining then after months and months and months of doing the same thing? And on the weekends, you're out there just partying with your friends and
Yeah.
chilling and not doing anything, saying it's my break, it's my Sunday, I need a rest from my weekend.
Me time. I need some
You're
me
not
time.
going to get anywhere in life with that attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want something and you're happy with the way you are, great for you. But when you want something and you want to be there, believe me, these questions you ask yourself, how you plan your day.
Yeah.
So this is some things I've always done. I literally plan. I've planned my entire day yesterday at 2 o'clock in the night before I went to bed.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what I'm doing after this podcast. I know exactly what's the next 7 to 8 things I'm doing right after for the whole day. The agenda for the whole day. Planning
Yeah.
your day is how things get done. You have
Yeah.
to do that.
And I think so much of it is just fear of failure, right? I think people create an environment for themselves that doesn't trigger any insecurities, any weaknesses, and any opportunity
I
to
have
fail.
a fear. I have a fear. It was. I think probably it's the same thing, but I'm not sure. But I'm still telling you 2 words for it. It was fear of failure, but now it's the fear of being average. Like when
Yeah.
I know I can be and I genuinely mean it with no arrogance. When I know I can be a legend, why would I not be that?
Yeah.
Why would I die average, or at least die trying? You know what I mean? And I genuinely think that's what I meant with all humbleness and not arrogance. I genuinely believe I can be great. I genuinely believe I can, because I have used everything in my skills. And if I have got from such a negative physical aspect and mental, obviously, and I have got this far, I'm sure I can get tenfolds better,
Yeah.
for sure.
Of course.
So why would I stop? So
Yeah.
that is the thing about you when you said about pressure earlier. Why would I stop? It's
Yeah.
not killing me, right? I'm able to balance it out. Yes, I have my on-off days. There are days it is too tiring, it is too this thing, but I keep at my journey because I know my goal.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's for my family, it's for the people around me, it's for people in general. And it's life, man. You have to experience life. Your life is not 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think their lives are 9 to 5, and I feel there's so much to experience, see, take, feel, talk, share.
Everyone has a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has like something that defines them, that makes them the odd one out and special. But a lot of people are afraid to just make that effort. A lot of people are afraid to fail. Honestly, like
Yeah.
what I've realized recently is that like you go to a zoo, you see this beautiful like tiger, but it's confined in this cage, and it has freedom on the outside. It has all these amazing things it can do, but it's confined in this cage. And I think anyone that lets fear, that lets weakness rule their life, they are no different to that animal confined in a cage. An analogy I heard recently where they talk about this guy who has a thorn like in his arm, and it's connected to a nerve right in his body. So anytime the thorn gets touched, obviously it really, really hurts. So this guy is a very social guy, loves partying, loves going to clubs, has a girlfriend, and all these things. So he loves going to a club, but now he has this thorn, and every time he goes to a club and there's people dancing around him, the thorn gets hit, it hurts too much. He's like, no, this hurts too much, I'm gonna stop.
Right.
Then he wants to hang out with his friends, but sometime when his friends hug him or he goes outside, again the thorn gets hit, so he stops hanging out with his friends. Then at some point he's at home with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend wants to get intimate, but again the thorn gets touched and it hurts too much, so he's like, I can't do this, I have to break up with you. This guy lives his whole life around this thorn not being touched. And in the end of the day, you have two choices. Either keep the thorn and do everything you can to prevent it not being hit, or take out the damn thorn.
Yeah.
Just take it out.
Yeah.
And it hurts in the beginning, but at some point you're going to be able to do all these things that you never thought you could do when you had it on. And I think this is a physical thorn I'm talking about. But I think we have thorns in our hearts and in our brains where we have insecurities. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
And taking those thorns out is so important. Knowing what those thorns are is so important. And I say all of that to say that
I feel people should be unapologetically you.
Yeah.
That's
authentic,
that's
right?
my definition to the whole thing. Validation, yes, people seek it. I mean, we all seek it in one way or the other. When I post on Instagram, I hope my videos get 1,000 reaches, or people see it. But seeking validation for who you are, that's a very wrong thing to do. And I know a lot of people get entrapped in that. Will people like me? Let me try to be more sociable for them. Maybe I don't want to generally do this, but people tend to do that. You know what I mean? And they get dragged into that loop where they just end up the day, they're not even living for themselves. Everything that they do, from the work, from the social circles that they are with, just to fit in, just to be around, the things that they post on Instagram, because that is what is viral and what people want to see, and not authentic self. Have you seen some of the videos, some of the influencers? I was going through Loving Dubai's one post yesterday, and there's talking about this one female, and she's an influencer, and how her videos started clicking. And her videos are only her literally sitting in a car, sitting in a room, just talking about how a day went, what are her thoughts about mental health, what are her thoughts about relationships,
No way, wow.
and things. And she's got 194K, my friend. From 6,500, she shot to 94K in a span of very, very, very short period, in a span of 2 months, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
So that was insane. And it was she was just being her authentic self, There was nothing facade to it, nothing fancy about it.
It's relatable, right?
And it's so relatable, right? And people get stuck in this. And I tell people, be unapologetically you. Yes, believe me, there will be so many people, from 100% crowd. Just accept this fact. 20% are not going to like you. 20 to 30% will not like you. That's just the way people are. There is no control over it. You don't have to be liked by everyone. The world is 7-8 billion people. You might know 1,000 people. From that, 300 of them might not like you. Big deal. You still have another 7 billion to tap to. You know? Stop wasting your entire life and trying to not be you for that 300 people.
Yeah.
And people are not always going to like you. They'll not always accept the things that you say. A lot of people don't accept some of the things I say, some of the things I might do, or the way I behave, or the way I'm aggressive, or the way I'm loud.
Yeah.
Does it bother to me? No, it doesn't, because end of the day, that is me.
Yeah.
So even I might not like somebody, there will be still some people where that person fits in, where that person feels that person is them. Embrace that. And make the most of that.
Yeah.
Be you. This is not a world of one attitude or one personality. It's a world of multiple personalities and attitudes.
Yeah, and I think also okay, that's a big part of it, but then also sometimes people just don't care. I don't think it's that deep. I heard this thing where it's in your 20s, you're always worried about what people think of you and what they say about you. In your 40s, you stop caring about what people say about you, what people think about you.
Yeah.
In your 60s and 70s, you realize that
actually nobody cared about you in the first place.
No one cared.
So that is a very good point. Actually, your entire 20s, that's so right. Your 20s till you're almost 30s or something is when you realize, that person starts dying. Actually, I'm not going to give a damn about people, right?
Yeah.
But it's so peak when you're in your 18 and 19s and 20s, right? In that initial phase, you're like, shit, everyone's going to care about what I'm going to do, how I dress, how I talk, how I'll have to look cool, how I have to be in my circle, right?
Yeah.
But as you grow older, you don't give a damn. So that's why you have people like me and you telling them you can actually do that in your 20s.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean, this is what it's about. This is, I think, what the podcast, we're giving them knowledge so that people can change decision. They can make better choices and telling them that it's okay. You know, so if I could do that, I tell people, dude, you have a lot of time.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time when you're talking about failures, right? I was once in a gym with two people, and I was doing all that. I was 25 years old at that time, and I was making my name, and I was trying to get there. I was trying to get into a better position, like as a person, get a little bit more recognized, so I could have opportunities come for me better, and do better and get there, right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling this person, man, like, shit, I don't know, man, I think I'm running out of time. I'm getting too old for this. And like, how old? These two guys are like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 25 years old. And our guy's like, he's a very successful dude.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I'm freaking 35 now. Okay, and that's when he really kind of blew out of proportion. Like, he was doing great, but he was blowing out of proportion at the age of 35. The other guy was also, I think, close to 38 or sort. He's like, boy, you have so much of time, so chill out. So what I tell the guys is like, people start freaking out at the age of 20, 23 nowadays, right? Guys or girls, it may be. There is so much. I'm 31 now, and I still tell myself there's so much of plenty of time.
Yeah,
there is
sure.
ample amount of time to do things, try things, make mistakes, learn from it, and keep moving forward.
So why are people so worried, and why do
They're
people...
scared? They're scared. Like you said, meditation. You spoke about meditation. Right? The problem with the people's attitude is everyone is worried about they're worried of the unseen future.
Yeah.
Or they're just living in their past successes or their miseries. How many people are living in the present? That's the thing.
It's very rare.
It's very rare. And I know people have heard that 100 times. But I'll tell them crystal clear, breaking it down. 99%, when I've had this problem. I've got stuck in the loop of my previous successes.
Oh,
okay? And
yeah,
I think that
yeah.
is a very important point to talk about. And thankfully, I've had some friends now and then who have reminded me of that. Like, listen, it's done. Okay, you're not as great, or you have not done that big as how you did. Even after my Guinness World Record, I'm my friend. I was like, record holder, my friend. He's like, yeah, dude, it's like 6 months over.
Yeah,
that's done.
It's just a thought in your head.
Now you have to move forward. You had a glorious moment, but now you have to move forward and do the next best thing.
Yeah,
like you have to better yourself. Yeah, right? It's about that. But
that's a good friend right there.
It's a very good friend. And believe me, you have people like that. Keep them in your lives. People, the ones who praise you. Be careful of them. Be thankful that they are praising you and they're very happy. But be mindful that words and that praises and appreciation you get can keep you in a stuck of an endless loop, thinking that you have always made it.
Yeah.
And then you realize how far you're back and everyone else is doing. So that's a problem. The minute you win something, or the minute you gain a big achievement, your drive kind of slows down.
Yeah.
Because you feel you have done something. But it's a constant journey up.
But let's get back to that. I wanna talk about the thing you were saying about how your friend told you that it's just something that has already gone.
Yeah.
And that you don't want to live in your past achievements.
Yeah.
And you want to constantly strive to do more. Like you were gonna say that.
Yeah, so then people get stuck in that. So I think that is something they have to be very mindful. What is done is done. Like, you did the work, you put it out there. There is a results that showed for it. Doesn't mean you keep living on that you made it. Nobody, even the biggest stars in the world, say like you constantly have to make it till you make it. And once you make it, like Shoutout says, I love the guy to death. He says that everyone has become a star in the industry. Okay, but the problem is after they all become stars, everyone feel they became a star. I am still a superstar. Shah Rukh Khan is telling I'm still a superstar because even after I'm on top, it's easy to get on top. It's hard to stay on top.
Yeah.
And that 100%. Lines hit so hard to me. It is literally, it's possible to get on top, but it's very hard to maintain that and still have that level of drive and motivation. So it's important not to be banking on your past successes or bank on your past failures thinking that you're not good enough to do something great as well. So that is important.
That's so important.
And we fail, dude. And believe me, I have failed so many times. I've been embarrassed. I've done some stupid things, which was not called for. But I was a kid. I was learning. I was in the process of getting better. And today I'm more mindful. I'm more understanding. And same thing with the fear part was stop worrying about where people will like you or not. Stop worrying about how you're going to come across. Stop worrying about what those numbers are going to be, or will you fail, or you will. I'll tell you something about failure or moving forward. I'll tell you there's only one possible outcome if you don't move forward, that you will be in the same place. But one another outcome is that you will get somewhere. I tell you might fall. You might fall 10 times. But believe me, every time you fall, you'll fall a little further.
Yeah.
You'll fall a little
Fall
more further.
forward.
Yeah.
So we have spoken so much about all these like inspirational things. Like from what it just seems like you've always been this super inspirational person. We have talked about weaknesses, but let's like ground ourselves back into the story.
Yeah.
Into you've said your story on so many podcasts so many times, so I don't want to make that long. But
Okay.
let's talk about a little bit about your story. And man, I want to talk about the weaknesses, the tough times. Tell me about that a little bit. Tell me about the story first, and then let's move from there.
Right. So story goes, I started my journey in Dubai.
Yeah.
And moved to Bangalore for my college, my bachelor's in commerce. At that age, very rebellious, very impulsive, adrenaline rush junkie is what you could call me. And I was living on top of the world
Yeah.
at the age of 20, 21. Freaking loved it. Bangalore was like a party throughout. And I used to love bike racing. So I used to love bikes. I think that's when I got in love with bikes. And 2023, March 31st, I met with a bike accident, which changed my entire life. And I have no recollection till date of how that happened. But when I woke up, I was in a hospital and I saw my family looking. My family was there, my mom was there, dad was there. And I was wondering, the first thought that I was like, what are they doing here? Because they're not supposed to be in India. And I think my brother-in-law just told me that you had an accident and you're in the hospital now. And I passed out. It took me a couple of weeks to understand and learn that I was unconscious for 4 days.
Wow.
And I
Coma.
was in coma, and I was on a ventilator. So I was artificially breathing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the doctor said he's gonna die on the 4th day because everything was just failing. My lungs were failing one day, my liver was failing one day. So it was just like bad news. And 4th day, miraculously, I survived. And I think after the first week is when he said, okay, now he's going to live. And one more week in the ICU, and then they moved me to the ward. And yeah, so I have no recollection of what happened. For the next 3 months, I spent in a rehabilitation center. 1 month at the hospital rehabilitation center, just learning how to do what a child would do.
Basic things,
like picking things from the ground, how to take a shower, how to move from a chair to a sofa. And it's like I couldn't feel half my body. I'm paralyzed below my chest. So what happened is I was told my bike went and crashed into a wall, a pillar, and my body hit the pillar and the pillar broke.
Oh my God.
And I did not have a helmet. So I suffered 18 fractures on my skull.
Wow.
I had my ribs broken. My ribs had pierced my lungs. I had my spinal cord broken.
Yeah.
And I had multiple maxillary fractures on my face and throughout my body. And I went into a coma. And for the first 4 hours, I was not treated because I was left in the lobby of a hospital. And at 7 o'clock in the morning is when another hospital took me.
Oh my God.
Because the first hospital did not have a place to put me in the ICU. And they thought I looked fine. Because I didn't have internally this was the damage, but externally I wasn't so bad, it seems.
Yeah.
And the minute they took me in Fortis Hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning is when they saw me breathing very deeply, and when they did a scan, they understood there's a hole in my lung because my ribs pierced through.
Yeah.
And they kind of fixed that. They called one of my friend called my family. Family came, and I underwent a 12-hour surgery after their approvals, and I woke up on the 4th day after. And after that, it was just a downhill trip for a very long time. And when I went back to Kerala, so another thing that hit me...
For a person that's like an adrenaline junkie,
yeah,
life is a party.
Yeah.
To have basically, I'm sure you party. I'm sure that you have these moments now.
Yeah.
But at the time, it must have just been like everything I love doing has just been taken away from me.
Completely. And it started with why are people looking at me like that? Like, I've never been looked at like that, in my entire life, like, with sympathy and people asking me 100 times what happened, and just sympathy every single day of your life, where people are coming in. Imagine people are coming to your house and be like, and just suddenly telling you limitations in your life. Oh, you'll probably never get married again, or you'll never have a job again.
No way. People were just blatantly telling you like you can't do anything.
The most offensive thing I think during that journey was when I was at home. A lot of these people used to come back in Kerala.
Yeah.
And they were like, I have an injury. So what happened? I can't feel below my chest. I tell them that. The minute I tell them that, the first reaction is what? They come and they touch my leg. Oh, you can't feel that.
No way.
And at first I was like, oh, they didn't just understand. Let me rephrase and tell them again. But after a point of time, I started getting so offended.
Of course,
I'm
man.
like, dude, you have no value for someone's emotions or someone's feeling, what state they're in.
Life.
Then I started getting aggressive. Then I started getting angry at life. Then I started playing the blame game at life. Then, oh, dude, my aggression was, it was deadly. Like, I know I'm an aggressive dude. Like, I used to be a boxer and I had that side of me. But this aggression was deadly aggression. Like, when I'm angry, that means I would do harm. I would destruct. Like, I had no fear. I had like no. I didn't give a fuck about anything.
You had hate, right? You
that
had so
was
much
hate. It
hatred
was
for the
hate.
world,
It
and
was just hardcore hate. And it was only because of my mom I came that far at that phase.
wow.
And yeah, like I didn't care anything anymore in life. I felt a person is living because they have something to look forward to, a
Yeah.
hope of a better day, a hope of a better future. But what happens when you take that away from a person, dude? I was in boxing. I was in a boxing academy. I felt I was untouchable. Around my circle, I was like this guy who was a tough guy.
Yeah.
So you can't just go mess with him. It's gonna be a physical. There might be a physical confrontation, and 99% of the people wouldn't opt that with me at that time.
Wow.
And yeah, loved partying. Like, Bangalore was like a very young age, like 2021, right? So it's just very chill overall. And I was little known, had a great life. As in overnight, everything is taken away from me. I lost a lot of my friends. I don't say lost today, I say they were gone for good. Or people who never bothered to keep in touch much, because I was just like a guy and then a wheelchair accident happened and everyone is feeling bad about it. I have some people who are still friends, but I felt at that point, in the couple of months, I was very lonely because I didn't have any calls coming in. I didn't have people checking on me. And I was a guy who lived for my friends, right? So that was one side. Loneliness hit me to another level. Depression hit me. Anger hit me. But somewhere I made a right choice, man. I literally made a choice with all this shit happening. I still felt there was hope, or there was a fire in me.
Are you religious, bro?
I am, but it's a very depth topic, I would say. I am religious. I believe there's a God. I believe humanity has messed up 3 to multiple religions and made
100%.
a different segregation of the whole thing. And I don't think that is the way it really is. So, and I'm still a person who's trying to understand what it is. And not by listening to anyone, because I don't think anybody in the world can define religion.
100%.
I genuinely believe that. Yeah, so I'm just in my own journey of seeking what it is.
Did it give you hope at the time? Like, how did your relationship with religion and God, like, how was that affected?
It became very strong after the accident. Like, for some reason, after the accident, I was very much understood. But then it was like an on and off thing, because later I understood. There were so many questions to be asked. If you go into the topic like God saved you, then I would ask, why did then He allow this to happen to me?
Yeah.
Like a lot of back and forth, clashing questions, and people have different answers for it. Then I realized those are answers of their versions. They are not living it. I'm living it. I have to understand it myself. But yes, it gave me hope as why, Sahil, what I went through, the injuries I had through, it is not normal for a person to be alive.
Even doctors were saying you weren't going to live.
Dude, the doctor came and told my dad, like the family was told 4th day he's going to die. Like he has everything is dropping and he has a 40% chance of survival. Because my eyes were depressed. Like my eyes went through. I was supposed to be blind. I was supposed to not have memory. None of that came true. And I have 18 fractures. I was this close of becoming a vegetable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
18 fractures. But I survived. For some reason, I survived. And I got to believe in God, because life is that is something that's precious, very powerful.
Yeah.
And I've been given that again. So yeah, and from the person He has made me, and He has given me the fire to become and think and visualize and understand. I mean, look at me today. I feel I'm untouchable. I feel I'm genuinely, if I put my focus and my mind in the right thing, people have to start worrying. You know what I mean?
What I really love, man, is just that, like, so many people in your position could say God or life has taken so much away from me.
Yeah.
But the way you speak about it is just like, you speak about it in a way where you're like, it's given me so much.
It's given, oh, wow, dude, it's given me immense, like,
purpose.
You know how grateful I am? I'll tell you what.
You were going here and now you're here.
When I I love both the sides of me. You know, I love that old side. I love the new guy. Definitely, new guy is much better. Like for me, right? But when I was alone, when I was lonely in Kerala for the longest of time, I had nothing to do. I wasn't working. I wasn't studying. All I was doing was watching series on Netflix the whole day. But I had so much of time for the first time in my life just to be on bed and start reflecting on who I was. That is what changed me, changed my game, changed my understanding, changed my mentality, changed my passion towards things, changed my fire, purpose. Because when I started reflecting on all my actions, like who I was to my girlfriend, like as you know, as a boyfriend, who was I to my friends, what did I think about me among them, but what was I actually, you know, what was the actions I did, what was the validation I started seeking from people,
Wow.
was I how was I overcoming, or how was I putting a facade over my fears and insecurities to front of people, acting this cool guy, acting this, you know,
Wow.
all this.
That's the key, man. It's
That is
just
the
like
key. That is the
reflecting
key.
on who you are. Like people go,
Yeah.
all these people that go to monasteries for months and give up everything. So
Yeah.
it's just them to think like that's the key.
That is the key.
It's who are you, bro?
Who
Like
are, you know,
reflecting.
you need to tell yourself, you need to understand, and you cannot lie to yourself, right? So when I went through all this phase and I developed this consciousness, I developed heart.
Solitude, bro.
Yes.
Like loneliness is the weakness of being alone. Solitude is the strength of being
Strength
alone.
of being alone. And I think everyone has to take their time out to do that. Because
Convert
when I did
loneliness
it,
to solitude.
when I did it, I started realizing a lot more. I developed a consciousness, I feel, you know, right after my accident. And I changed a lot of things about my life. And until today, I do a lot of self reflection. I do a lot of self talks. And I stay by myself. And I believe that was the best thing, because I still have a lot of time to think, process, you know, on my thoughts, and, you know, like talk to myself, which is right, which is not right. How am I doing? Who am I as a person? Am I still on track? And I think it's all important. And it's a mix of like a lot of things. It's just not one thing. Yeah.
Solitude, man, is just like one of the keys.
You gotta
to
make
life.
loneliness your best friend.
You gotta make solitude your best friend.
Yes,
Convert
solitude your
loneliness to solitude. But I wanna for people that have not done that, like you had all this time to yourself to figure out who am I? Like, are there like certain questions that you think people should really like ask themselves? For example, for me, I ask myself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid to fail? I
Yeah.
always ask myself that.
Yeah.
What would I do if I wasn't afraid of how people would view me in this situation? How would I be? Who is my authentic self? Like
I think people should understand a few things. Number one, it's never too late. That statement is so powerful. And I know genuinely people think that at a too aged in their life. What is aged? For some people, oh, I'm 35 now. I'm not, you know, allowed or supposed to do this thing, or I can do something I could do at 25. You're 35, you're 45, 55. Dude, I know guys who are 58 years old, best shape of their lives, killing it. And it's not like they started when they were 25. They started probably when they're late 40s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's never too late. Believe me, that statement. And listen, look at it in this way. You don't have an option. Do you want to change something in your life? No matter what the age may be, what the scenario may be, do it. Go ahead and do it. So what? Like we say again and again, if you're not going to fail and you're trying to have this security, you're always going to be that guy with the thorn. You know, you're never going to get out there. You're never going to try something. I never knew I was good or decent enough at some things when it was accidentally put out there. For example, music. I put out there, people started liking it. You know, I wouldn't consciously put it. I didn't put it. A friend of mine did it.
No way.
A friend of mine put it out for me. And then people heard it. And then I literally got recognized for that. And the story is insane. Like,
You have some good friends, man.
I have some
people that keep you humble.
blessed people in my
People that
life.
put your music, your friends.
know?
Shout out to good friends.
You know, shout out to
Be a
good
good
people in
friend,
your
man.
life. Very true. And so I'm like, yeah, it's never too late. It's never to try something. It's never too late to try something, because exactly, always think, what is the other option? You're either going to be stuck in the same position you are, but if you're going to take a chance to try it out, always reflect. See, I always tell this to people. You want to change something in your life, you have to change it first within. There is always something that you are doing in your life that is not helping you or not productive for you. That for some people, it could be wasting their time. Some people, it could just be partying all day. Some people, it could be just sitting on Netflix saying they're lazy. Excuses are going to be there for every Tom, Dick and Harry, believe me. Dude, like you can, I'll tell you, I saw this something and it was so powerful. You want to do something, be a hardcore hardcore fucker at it. Okay? Like, you can have excuses. You're sick, your family, something happened at home, something happened financially, something happened. Bullshit. You will not be, you won't be a champion with it. I can give you billions of excuses more than anyone, my friend.
100%.
I'm in a wheelchair. My back is hurting. I have my wounds are not healed. It's not easy to carry my wheelchair to a certain places. It's difficult. It's what not I can give.
Yeah.
And I'm telling the people, dude, if I'm not giving that excuses, what's giving you? So watch me, at least see me that I am at least trying in life. If I can do it, why can't you?
And also, like, how long are you gonna make these excuses?
How long?
How long do you want to continue doing this, being this person?
Yeah.
Like, at what point are you gonna make that change?
And people want to change. I know generally people want to change, but they're just not ready to take the first step. Or they just feel, and even if people are taking the first step, many of them are just getting drifted away mid-journey. And like I was saying this to someone yesterday itself, Usain Bolt has a statement, I trained 4.5 years just to run 9.58 seconds. I trained 4.5 years to run 100 meters in 9.58 seconds, okay? And you guys are giving up after a few months. Where's the logic in that, my friend?
Yeah.
You want results. I'll tell you, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
That's a fact. For me, how many people in a wheelchair I know are doing that? No, but I didn't do it overnight. But I did it over a period of time, and I had a lot of failures. Like, you want to know my failures? Dude, in the gym, you know how many times I've fallen and I have hit my head? You know how many times I've had open cuts in the gym while dumbbells have fallen on me? And I could have stopped at any point saying, oh my God, it's too dangerous for me. It's too scary for me. I might break something more in my body. No, I didn't. I was willing to keep moving forward. I was willing to still go back. And that definitely paid off for me, I could have been, how many... speaking in front of a crowd, like 600, 500 people, shit, it is scary, man. It is intimidating. You want end of the day that after you leave the stage, people should not just clap, oh yeah, we're done. I want to make an impact. When I talk to people, I want them to have feelings to change something in their life. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's not, now it got easy, but at the point of time, it was definitely a fear of like, shit, I hope I come out good. I hope I can at least justify the time people are spending to listen to me.
Yeah.
So it's a responsibility for me. It's not like I'm just getting lucky or I'm getting paid to speak. No, it's for me, it's like when 20 minutes you're spending of your life or 15 minutes you're spending listening at me, I want it to be valuable, worth something.
Yeah, of course.
So take a chance, try so many new things. Why don't allow this fear? I think it's a fear. Like you said,
Yeah.
we're always coming back to the first point.
It's always
fear
fear.
of trying something different.
Fear of being alone as well.
Fear of being alone.
One of the biggest freaking, things that holds people back. Me as well. That's something I'm really struggling with
fear
right now.
of being alone. You know where was my fear of being alone? Remember I told you when I was back in Sharjah and I had those boys with me and they were not really bothered, to take me out much, or whenever at least I wanted to be a part of a good scene. You know what was my fear? When I started understanding that, I had to then isolate myself from them. And they were the only ones I knew.
Yeah.
So I was then, shit, am I even going to get friends? Because I don't even know what's my next step. I'm not working. I'm not even out there. I'm doing nothing. I'm just at home all day surviving. And that was my fear of being alone. But I took a chance. But I told myself, you know what, even though I'm alone, let me work on my body because I needed to get stronger. That changed everything. So the minute I started focusing on me, the world changed for me. Focus on you. The world will change for you.
Yeah, I just want to go back into this. It's everything you're saying is so inspirational, man, and it's just like you just constantly have inspirational things to say. But how do you fight insecurities? How do you build confidence? Like, is there a moment in your life when you were doing the whole I'm just gonna watch Netflix all day? Is there a moment when you knew I'm going to use this really tough experience I've had in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it as a catalyst for me to inspire and motivate people. Was there, you went through a time when you were obviously probably demotivated and you're alone and you're having all these thoughts of why me and all of these things. What was the moment? Was there a moment? And if so, what was the moment where you're like, no, I'm going to make this happen? Where did the confidence come from?
There was the moment when I was at my lowest point of time, and I was thinking about killing myself is better than living, and doing researches on which was the most possible outcomes, and finding that the most possible outcomes were not in my axis at that moment. And I was done. I was dusted. I was put on the ground 6 feet deep, and I was like, dude, I either close my eyes and stay here or I have to do something, because I was done with people telling me every single day, you can't do this, or what my limitations are. So as a guy, what do I do? I mean, was I this limited guy? No, I wasn't. I mean, look at me in college. I was killing it. I was in basketball. I was whatnot. My hands were there everywhere, and I was loving life. You know, I was at my peak. I felt, at least at that age. And suddenly, another side, everyone looking down on me. People are placing limitations on me, where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, what I can do, what I can't do. And I ended up coming across this video, and it's in YouTube. It's called The Dewey Bonzello Story. And it's one of the most inspiring videos I've ever watched in my life till date. After watching that video, which is like a thing of 11 minutes, I told myself, dude, you got to take a chance. Like, Dewey was in jail for 32 years, 35 years or 30 years, and he took a chance. And I'm like, there's somewhere out there a man in United States of America. His story is inspiring. You should watch it. And he took a chance at his life, even though he was locked up for 30 years for something he did not do.
Wow.
And I just told myself, dude, what gives me the right to give up in my life when mine is like, it was the first year running? I'm like, you have to change something. And then I realized that because of all this time I had to myself, I'm like, your mom cannot help you, your dad cannot help you, because nobody knows what to do. You know, they love me, they support me, but they do not know how to help me.
Yeah.
You know, emotionally, how to make me feel in a better position.
Because they're not in that position.
And they're not. And how do I have a healing for this? You know, how do I heal from a spinal cord? Because even doctors don't have it. So I'm like, your folks don't have an answer. The doctors don't have an answer, because doctors like me don't know what's the cure of spinal cord injury as well. So I'm like, who has an answer then? You have to have the answer, Sujith, and you take a chance. So what do I do? What is the first thing that is triggering in your mind? I was like, yes, there are hundreds of no's in my life, right? You can't do this, you can't do that. And it was, and the first thing I thought to myself, I got to take a chance. I got to build up all the courage I have left to even think that I will bounce back in life, to even think I'll bounce back in life. And I thought, and I'm like, what is the first thing? And they were like, you cannot go to your room, which is on the first, in your staircase. And that is the first thing I said, I have to do that.
Yeah.
People said, I cannot go upstairs. Let me start with that, because that's like the closest thing, the easiest thing in my house I can do.
Yeah.
I'm doing something out there. And I did it. I crawled upstairs, and I literally was on my hands crawling each step one by one till I reached on top. And when I reached on top, I was dead. I was tired, but it was damn it worth it. It was damn worth it, because then when I reached on top, I just thought to myself, it's not even about, I reached to my room. No, when I reached on top, I was like, dude, this is something what everyone told is impossible. But I took a chance, built all that little courage I had left to even think about doing this. Was like, at that my mental state, even think of doing this was something big.
Yeah.
Was something big.
Yeah.
But when I did it, I saw a new door open in front of me to try something different.
Because there's this huge mountain, metaphoric obviously, but there's this huge mountain that you're trying to climb, and you don't think you can do it. You try to look at a way to do it. Okay, you can't run. Like I've heard you say this before. You can't run.
No, you can't fly. You run. If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl.
Yeah, and you climb the stairs, and I'm sure that it's not even about the stairs. It's just like that moment was probably like a symbol and a representation of how you're gonna live your life from then on.
I had to do a chance. It's actually, you're absolutely right. Like, that was just the first thing. I'm like, what is the first obstacle that's coming in your mind? And it was then when I did that, and I understood that's when I understood that actually people don't have the complete answers. That's when I understand, actually, because I was a kid. I was like 20, 21 years old, and I thought all the older people know better than me, and they make better choices than me. That was my idea until I got my own understanding on how things work. And then I realized, no, that's not the real truth. You can actually change your life. You can actually make your decisions better. And when people tell you can't do things, it's because in their logical minds, when they envision doing it themselves, they cannot process an outcome in this scenario.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I understood. So I'm like, no, screw that. I got to do it. It might not be the most orthodox way, but can I get things done? Yes, I can. And I've done that over and over and over again, and I'm still seeking, and I still know there's still Mount Everest for me to climb. The journey is it's not going to end. It'll come to a close one day, but there's still so much more to do, so much more to get. And during that journey, I hope and I pray that I can make a change in people's life. I can do something good, something better for them, something for them to look forward to. I get huge inspiration by Kobe Bryant. Kobe's like an idol, man. Like, fucking love the guy to
What a
death,
guy,
What a guy. His principles, his mentality, just inspires me. I hope I can be a pinch of that for someone when I'm done with my role.
Even Jordan.
Even Jordan,
Michael
man.
Jordan, man.
For me, it was, two guys, man, I just looked up so much with the work ethics and the way the character was Kobe and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I was
Muhammad
like,
Ali's a big
I
one.
have like just no words for their work ethics and the mentality and the mindset that they had. So, when I did some things in life, I started seeing there's more possible outcomes. And I started telling people, listen, you don't have to listen to everybody around you. Listen to yourself. Make those choices. How do you get confidence? I was placed in a position, Sahil. If I did not move, I would literally die of loneliness, of pain, of heartbreak in a room. That was an extreme. If I tell you right now, I'm going to put this, we are in this small box right now, right? In this small room. There's a gas that's going to come down. And that you have like about 6 minutes. And the doors are locked. 6 minutes before that gas kills you in this room. You will everything in your power do to break that door open. Even though it's locked. Like everything, right?
Yeah.
But what if I'm like, I just locked the door, but there's no gas coming. Get out. You will take probably, 25 minutes, half an hour, one day. And then you're like, let me wait for something to happen.
Yeah,
right?
let me like relax and chill.
That is the thing about life. When you're placed in that point where you have like, that's when you are really triggered to do something change. Problem is, people are in that box without the gas coming through. But when they put their minds into that shit, that gas is coming through, and I have to really do it, that's when they actually make an action. So all these people who tell you, I want to change something, like I want to do this, all are still in the box. But they don't have that thing that'll, I was in that gas chamber. Like if I didn't move genuinely, I didn't have an option. I had to do it.
I had the same exact thing with the drug addiction. If I didn't make the change at some point, I would have overdosed again. I would have probably tried committing suicide again. So it's like, yeah, what you're saying is so valuable that it's like, at some point, it's like, you need to make the change.
You need to know that you have no other option.
Yeah.
Like you have to move forward. You have to convince your mind. You have to tell your mind that, dude, if I don't get this, I'm done.
And is that what helps you these days? Because sometimes that's like when I'm not feeling it, I'll say this again. I rarely wake up feeling happy. I always wake up feeling disciplined or purposeful. On purposeful days like today, I'm so happy to do all these things and it's great. But on days where it's tough, it's just discipline, right? And it's like, I think a lot of people ask me like, oh, like, how are you doing this? Like, how are you living this life? Are you doing so many things? And I'm sure people ask you the same thing. And you think like, oh, sometimes it's like really tough and you want to give up. But it's like, if you weren't doing this, realistically, what else would you do? Right?
Completely.
Like, if you weren't doing all these like things you're doing now, what the hell else would you do? There's nothing else you could do. There's nothing else you'd want to do.
I think I love what you just said. I think people should know that and hear that. Is that I also genuinely believe it. You have to be at least 80%, freaking 75 to 80% logical, more than your emotional side. If you're going to let emotion, like you said, some days I'm not feeling it, some days I don't want to do it. Yeah, you don't want to do it. But then you believe what happens to your life. You're going to slack back. That is the way it goes, You have to be purposeful. Happiness comes. Like I said, it's not going to come just because you're laughing, but you will be content end of the day with what you have done for your day. Purposeful, being mindful and loving what you do and doing things with the purpose, because you want to get things done. Yes, be happy. Just sit at home, be happy, watch something. But you want to get things done. You want to move forward. You want to have purpose for your life. So end of the day, it's not just about today, man. It's like about 4 years from now, 5 years from now, when you get to a certain level, then you'll know what all this discipline and purpose and doing the first few things in the day and why you did the certain things, even though you didn't feel to do it, what it resulted to.
I think a big part of it is just talking about like pain and pleasure, right? We're always trying to avoid
Convert
pain.
your pain into pleasure.
Yeah, but also like we're always trying to feel pleasure. We're always trying to avoid pain. And I think every situation has pain and pleasure in it. So you have to decide, like, okay.
No, I think, sorry to cut you
No,
off,
go on.
but I think you have to be, you have to be uncomfortable. Genuinely, I think people have, because
Courage over comfort.
there is, like I said, you know why? Being uncomfortable is knowing that gas is coming through. Being, yeah, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to be disappointed. Like when I know, generally after my certain victories, or when I've got a good achievement and I'm moving forward and more opportunities are coming my way, and I know when that I slowed down and I see people around me very active in the game I'm supposed to be, which is Instagram, which is, you know, showing my content on what am I doing to people so they can, and I know when I'm slacking over there, and when I see other people taking my spot, it pisses me off, you know, and I am angry, and I genuinely have to be angry, because that is my triggering point to get back up on my game. Not to put them down. No, I love, you know, like I say, there's so much for everyone to take it. But for me, myself, I get pissed. I get uncomfortable. And I am constantly in that, because only then I am genuinely happy. How do I get happy? When I get all this, right? But how do I get all this? By being uncomfortable and pushing myself to get there. So that's literally how it works.
It's about the gas chamber, and it's like,
about that knife that's coming to you, that thorn that's coming to you, that's, you know, it shouldn't touch you, so you got to start moving.
Yeah.
Dude, it's literally just start moving. Just move forward. Do something. The only outcome is, if you're not going to do something, you're going to stay in the same place, because you feel you're safe, you're secure. And everyone is worried about safety and secure and not failing. And, you know,
I think the universe gifts you pain and suffering, and the way in which you use that decides whether it's a gift or a curse.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have to be pushed to an edge in order for them to really see what they're doing wrong, and for them to let go of certain things. From your story and from your experience and journey, it seems just you had to let go of a certain mindset.
Yeah.
You had to let go of a certain lifestyle and accept a new one. And yeah, sorry, go on.
You know, life happening to you is inevitable.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing you can do. Like a lot of things in your life you can control, you can't control. What you can control is the outcome of it. Now, when that hits, that's why you have people like me telling other people out there who are going through very tough times that, listen, keep a positive attitude, keep a hope, and do everything that you can in your power.
Focus on what you can control.
Focus on what you can control, and I'm telling you, generally, something in your life will change. I don't know if you'll reach your goal or not, but something in your life will change. But at that very verge, there are also people who can shift to a negative aspect of things, where they feel that, why is this happening to them? They didn't deserve this. I mean, I've asked all these questions to myself as well at many points of time. You know, I tell them, and it's very important, because many people I know in wheelchairs, dude, their entire life crashes after that, and they're sitting at home. They don't see anything to look. No matter what you do, you cannot change their attitude, because they have lost the best things in life. You know what I mean? And it's a very serious injury. You know, a spinal cord injury. It's not something you will recover after a couple of months. I wish it is that, and I hope the cure comes for it. But it's something you really have to. I had to be really strong in my heart to make a conscious decision. And it's not like because I made a decision 10 years ago that I'm okay now. It's a decision I live by every single day. It's a constant reminder. Every day I'm in a wheelchair. Every time I get out of my bed, that I know I'm not walking to my washroom, but I have to get in a wheelchair to go brush my teeth. I have to get in a wheelchair to do this. It's a choice you make for the hope that the outcome tomorrow will change. You know, so at that breaking point, people have to be pushed. Right? Everyone has to be pushed if you want to do something. But at that breaking point, it's about the choices you make. And when you're at that phase, I hope that you have good people around you to tell you, like, listen, you can do it. You know, then people telling you all the reasons on why you can't.
Yeah.
You just need to hear that one voice, if it's from somebody or if it's from within, that I can do it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. With everything you're saying, there's just this amazing quote that I presented to people like recently.
Yeah.
And the quote goes, "Turbulence that blows you into greatness is better than calmness that stalls you into mediocrity."
Oh.
And so I feel like it just sums up everything we've talked about, that you have had so much turbulence in your life.
Yeah.
but it's like taking you into this place of greatness.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were just calm and everything was normal, that it would have kept you in this mediocre maybe life. Possibly.
I'm happy for the chaos, my friend. I'm very happy for the chaos, because if it wasn't for the chaos, I cannot predict the outcome now, but if it wasn't for the chaos, I would never be the person I am.
Yeah.
And I would love to be the guy I am today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just to catch on that, it's not a very similar quote, but then I also remembered a very inspiring one from T.I. recently. He was doing a podcast and he said this: even though trees and grass grows at the same place, the trees don't hang out with the grass. Yeah? Even though they both start in the same place, they don't hang out with the grass.
Yeah. Wow, I love that, man.
And then you really, that is a quote you really have to think about. Oh shit, that's true. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the greatness you feel. Then you don't limit yourself. You don't stop yourself. Why? Because nobody around you is. So what? Nobody is around you is having that mindset. You develop that mindset. You take the chance.
Trees, plants, like all these things, they all come from a seed at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they all come from like
They
this
start
one,
at the same place.
one really small thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not gonna talk actually about nature and biology, but talking about it from like a analogy, it's like we all come from the same thing. So you decide whether you're gonna be a plant or you're gonna be a tree.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to decide.
It's actually up to you to decide what you want to be. That's the best part about life, and that's why I feel. That's why I feel it's possible. You know, the amount of hope and the amount of assurance I have about how possible it is, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely know that you can start somewhere and you can literally change your life. You can make better outcomes. You can make better choices. You can change your life. Like you can literally make it from 0 to 50 or to 100. But it's how you see it. It's how you visualize it, how you picture it. And the actions and the things and the blueprint, the framework you put in place to build that outcome. Yeah. Which like you said earlier, has a lot of taking out of things to do and a lot of adding on good things to do, a lot of discipline, a lot of routine, and a lot of focus. Because that is something I feel people don't have. Focus. People are disciplined, are motivated, a big deal. But you got to be focused. And there's a clear-cut definition between motivation, driven, and being focused. And for me, what I would place on the first pinnacle would be focus.
Bro, I want to talk about this. We've talked a lot about inspirational things, and now I really want to get into the nitty-gritty, negative, chaos part that you overcome. Talk to me about your experience with this idea of chaos, this idea of turbulence. Talk to me about the turbulence in your life on a daily basis, about how you've overcome it, how you do overcome it. But I want to hear about the actual like difficulties of what it's like.
Initially, it was hell. It was a lot of anger. My sadness came to me in terms of anger. Like, for example, when I wasn't able to see, there was a point where I couldn't move from when I was moving to my chair to the bed. I would lose balance midway, fall. My mom had to help me. Dad had to help me. And it was filled with so much anger. When I was climbing the stairs up, I was just pissed off in between. I used to start physically hitting my legs, like, out of anger. And I've done that many times, even while I'm on a bed. And my mom has seen it. She's like, stop hitting your legs. And with all that anger, because of frustration, anger, not knowing what to do. And then when things started moving and changing, and I started seeing little changes in my life, is when I know there was hope. So what I say to people is, initial phase has got to be hell on earth, actually. But it does get better over time. Like for me today, I'm in a way better position. It's not like I go home frustrated. No, I go very, very happy. Go very normal. I do have my days where I want to break down. I do have my days that reminder hits so hard that I'm like, fuck man, I can't just do this shit.
What type of thoughts did you have at that time?
Thankfully when I go, see, I'll tell you, Sahil, I have a lot of demons. A lot of demons in me, like in my head. But it's all locked up. But it's there. But those demons are the ones that keeps me on the positive side. Like, I know if I shift to that other side, if I'm this extreme being positive, imagine what extreme I would be if I was negative. Yeah? So those demons are there locked up, but those demons are the constant reminders that keeps me fighting for my cause.
How, bro? How? Because I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, my job involves me being positive all the time. And even when I have to accept negativity, it's always from an optimistic viewpoint and standpoint. But dear Lord, there are some days where I'm just like, I don't know what's taken over me. There's like different parts to me.
Yeah.
There's one part that's like super motivated, ready, like who I want to be. But then there's a part of me that's like, you're not good enough. You're going to end up alone for the rest of your life. Like all these like demons that I have. And sometimes that part just comes and takes over you. And other than just breathing through it, it's like, I don't know how to get rid of it.
So
Does it ever go?
It's like happiness doesn't last forever. Sadness doesn't last forever. It's an emotional thought. That's why I told you have to be more logical than you have to be emotional.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very important. Until you reach a point where that negative emotions has almost zero effects on you, because you know hardcore grounded foundation of happiness and the purpose that you have laid on. Until you lay that foundation of solid concrete that cannot be moved, unless you lay that, these negative thoughts will always shake the foundation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like happiness doesn't last for, how long will you be? I crack a joke to you today. I laugh for it today. I laugh for it tomorrow. Third day, I'll be like, what the this joke is done, man.
Yeah.
It's not damn funny anymore. Same thing with sadness. It doesn't last. But during that particular moment, you will feel this is the joy that will last for a very long time.
Yeah.
Or you're in a very high state of happiness. And sadness is the same thing.
Same thing.
You feel that this is, your life is done. You are done. Why is this happening to me? I'm not going to be anywhere. I'm going to be lonely. It is an emotion. When you understand that it's an emotion, I know I'm speaking in a very way that people are like, how do you do that? I'll tell you how to do it as well. When you understand it, right, that it's an emotion. So when I'm sad, I don't be like, oh, this is just an emotion, I'm going to pass through. No, I will take about 3 days, and I've done that a couple of times in the past. I take about 3 days where I am completely not doing anything I want to do. Like I don't care about social media. I don't care about people. I don't care about nothing. I'm just home. I might even take a day off. I'll just watch Netflix. I'll eat whatever I want to eat. I'll do whatever I want to do. I want to go out. I want to be at somewhere, anywhere, something. I'll do whatever I want to do. Not giving a damn about anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm in that sulking state, but I allow myself to happen that. Believe me, Sahil, by the third day, I'm like, now I don't feel that I can. It's not like I'm something suppressing it, but my body, it's an emotion, right? It moves. It passes. That is just the way you're programmed. Depression is one thing altogether. You know, depression, but even in depression, you're allowing that thing to have power on you. Your thoughts are what's powerful. Like even at this point of 2-3 days, I'm not still thinking about it, right? Even it's coming to me. Obviously, I'm a human. It's a thought that just hits my head. And then I'll be like, yeah, doing nothing. Third day, fourth day, I'm like, now I'm done. Like that whole sadness, the gravity or the gravity of that sadness has reduced. Then I can have a moving forward option, right? But the foundation I've set is so strong today that it doesn't really hit me that hard. Over a period of time, when you're done with it, and like it's done, and I'm moving forward now, that sadness has very little effect on you. How do you do that? Starting is always hard. There's no magic pill to it. You have to believe in your purpose. You have to know why you have started certain things. The journeys, yes, it's going to be hard. And believe me, my friend, the minute you want to do something good in life, that is a second where all the problems, it'll start coming in your life. And that is the way the blueprint is. The minute you don't want to do nothing, believe me, you will have a very comfortable life.
It's not about the situation you're given or the problems that come to you, but it's about how you react to them.
How you react to.
And I think such a big part is that, like, when it comes to emotions are like clouds moving through the sky. But we fail to see that. We think emotions are the sky, that it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But emotions are like clouds. They're there today, they'll be gone tomorrow.
People have to understand that. It's the same thing with sadness, the same thing with loneliness, depression. You know you are in that phase. That phase should give you a fire to change. That's why I said, whenever you are in an uncomfortable position, it has to give you a fire that you have to be better. You want to do better. And nothing in your life will change until you change something inside you, which is your thought process. Literally, it's not rocket science. All you have to do is change your mentality, make peace with the situation, or have an understanding on how the situation is affecting your life right now. So people are like, the thought is just coming, oh, this is my life, or that is my life. No, always make understanding on that certain situation. The minute you have an understanding towards it, then you will know when the phase is up and when the phase is down. then you will be a little bit more in control on handling that situation or handling that emotion. So you have to make peace with it. You have to make an understanding about it.
And give it a purpose. I think suffering is pain without purpose. But when
you know, whatever has gone from your life, whether it may be, it's probably there for a reason. It's gone. Doesn't mean it's probably it's gone for something good to come in. You know, you have to have that attitude, or you have to have that mentality. Probably it's gone so that you have new place for something good to come in.
Yeah, I think people are so afraid. Like, people want to get to a certain place in life, but the truth is, if you're not in that place right now, it's for a reason. It's because there's a lifestyle change you need to make, a mindset shift that you need. But the thing is that for you to, like, I think everyone's in a position that's good, but God gives you the opportunity to make that position great and greater and greater and greater. But people find it difficult to let go of things they don't need, and they're afraid of accepting things that they don't have yet.
Yeah, they're scared to lose. They're scared to lose the things that they have.
But you have to let go of something for you to gain something, for you to be where you want to be. And if you're in a position right now where you want to get to a certain place, I think it's really important to know that there are things in your life right now that are not going to be there. If you want to get to that place, they're not going to be there. And you need to be comfortable letting go of certain things and knowing what you need to let go of. And also not to wait to a point where life forces you.
Right.
Move with the wind, move with life. Don't make life have to force you and make you crash and make you really, really suffer for you to realize, shit, I need to change something.
Yeah.
Have awareness to know what to change.
But you know what's the best part? 99% of the time, that's when people change.
Yeah, it's true.
When they're like at the word, shit, like now I'm done. Now I don't have an option. That's what I was telling you earlier.
When your back's against the wall.
That's what I was telling you earlier. Unless you're literally at that pinch and you understand the gravity. But people don't understand the gravity until it happens to them. That's the problem. Right? And when people understand the gravity of it and they make those life decisions, that life comes with a lot of loneliness. That comes with a lot of being alone, a lot of focusing part, a lot of things of doing the boring things in life, right? And it's all boring. Believe me, it's nothing fancy. Even the things I do, right? It's a lot of it is super boring. Like,
but that's the thing.
But that's the way. Yeah.
It's like all these accolades you have, all these things when you go to these podcasts, like you're here today doing all these amazing things. The truth is that the hard work it takes to be recognized, to be appreciated, actually just comes from being alone and having some of that boring time. And who you are at that time, the things you choose to do, the way you choose to think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you choose to look at reality, because you create that reality.
Yeah.
That's what does all of this.
Yeah. Oh,
that's what makes you who you are.
This bit of the podcast is the peak. What you said.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so amazing.
It's who you are when you're...
Word by word word.
It's who you are when you're alone in your thoughts. That moment when you've just woken up, before you start watching that podcast, when you're brushing your teeth, that moment when you're just... Before anything happens throughout the day, those initial thoughts, those initial moments, the way you choose to move, the way you choose to think, the way you choose to breathe in that moment before you have contact with the outside world, with social media, with anything, that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah. So few principles I've changed and adopted over time is, as soon as I wake up, the first words that come to my head is like, thank you, God, for giving me life. Okay, or I'm grateful for this day. Thank you for this day. That's what I say. And I've been practicing that from the longest of long times. Like from years I'm doing this. So the second I wake up, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day. And I give, I do my cross and everything. Second thing, I go try to down a liter of water. Okay, keeps me in a... So I always tell this to people. When you want to be a high function person, right? You have to do not just mentally, but even your physical body has to accept that. You have to do some things in your body, in certain foods you eat, in the workouts you do, and the things that you consume in your body will make your body function also at an optimal level. So your mind is also at an optimal. Have you seen some guys with high energy throughout the day? You're like, damn, how the hell this guy has so much energy? It's not like he's on any
coffee,
drugs or coffee or anything, right? He is on just his own mind of level of energy on his principles that he has during his day. And I know some people are very strict and very religious with their diets and things like that. So after 1 liter is another thing. I heard this who was he? He was a scientist or he was a doctor? I'm not sure.
Andrew Huberman?
No,
Joe
no, I'm
Dispenza?
sorry. I'm very bad with the names
Okay,
that
no
way.
worries.
But he was like, if you want to try, so your mind has a left and the right side, right? And I think many of the times with right-handies, it's only working on one side and the other one has a different function or a purpose. If you're a right-hand guy, brush with your left hand. I started doing that. So that's the way to activate the other side of your brain. Okay, I do that. Then he said, look in the mirror and tell I love you to yourself 10 times. Okay, the third thing he said was, and this is something I do, after the brushing, the left hand part, and now every day by default it's a left hand.
I'm gonna do it with my left hand now.
Looking in the mirror, so I don't know how the connections work or how it changes, but I feel this is the way how you activate the other side of which your body is not used to doing. And I do that. I do the telling myself part, which I love you, I tell 10 times. And third thing is like, take big deep breaths 25 times. Like for example, when you wake up in the morning, like your breath has to be at all. You know how many people talk about breathing, which is so important, and people don't understand they don't understand the importance of breathing.
It's what keeps you alive.
It's what keeps you alive, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they lose. Haven't you seen some people, if you're not fit also, they do this breathing thing. But some people are there, they will start panting after like a kilometer of walk or run, man. I mean, that's when you know how unfit you are, or climbing a stairs. So he says, take these deep breaths, like releasing it 25 times. Bro, believe me, when I do that, you're high. Like, I need some 5 minutes because of the overload of oxygen in your body. But then your body starts functioning. You know what I mean? Because you're giving it that optimal capacity with the water, the breath. I mean, these are two things you can start your day with, and then the mindfulness. And that's how I start my day. And I feel it's good. It's good for me. I feel it.
What's the, like, let's get that recorded actually. I wanna make sure I get that. So what's the order in which you do that morning routine?
As soon as I wake up, the 1 liter of water, then I brush my teeth.
As soon as you wake up, where's the gratitude thing?
The gratitude, I say thank you. Thank you for this day. This is exactly the words I come. Thank you for this day. And then I go with drinking a liter of water. Then I go brush the teeth with my left hand because I'm a righty. Then I have where I look in the mirror and I say, I love you to myself 10 times. Then I have the breath. The breath taking about 25 times. And earlier I used to have another technique of Wim Hofman.
I love it. Love it. Yeah.
I used to try his method. But this one, I feel there's more rush of oxygen in the body. So I try to do this one. And there's a difference again in Wim Hof's method and this one. And then I go about starting my day with work.
Amazing.
And how it goes about.
Yeah. My morning routine is very similar. I wake up first thing in the morning before I'm half asleep. There's a prayer called Tablet of Ahmed. I listen to that prayer every single morning. Go downstairs, say my obligatory prayer, the short one, meditate, and then journal every day. The 1 liter of water, I used to do it before, but I don't do it anymore. I need to start doing that again. That's a good one. And brushing my teeth with my left hand, I got to start doing that.
I missed 2 points.
I'm going to try that.
You should try that. You will find it's good, I feel. I also start with the music. Like after I'm done with the water, it's always music all the way till everything is done. It's just playing in the background. But I don't have a playlist of sort, but I was lately thinking I should have a better one. Tablet of Ahmed.
Yeah.
He said, I got to hear what that is.
Bro, beautiful 5-minute prayer. It's a Baha'i prayer. I believe in unity of religions. I love Christianity. I love Islam. I love Buddhism. I love Jainism. I have done research for all these types of religion a little bit because I believe in unity of religions, all religions, and science as well. But Tablet of Ahmed, it's a Baha'i prayer. It's from the Baha'i faith. Beautiful, beautiful prayer. Stories even better.
I'll check it out.
Prayer and meditation, bro. Prayer, meditation, journaling, and exercise. Things that changed my life. If it weren't for those things, I would not be alive right now. So if you don't meditate, bro, meditate, man.
Meditation is something a lot of people have told me. I've never had the patience. I feel meditation, what I've done is, I think it's a part of meditation where I just sit by myself and I don't have a thought. My thought is like I'm focusing on my breath. I'm hearing the inhaling and the exhaling part of it. And the point of that, for me, my understanding is, at that point of time, you don't want to have a lot of thoughts in your mind. let your mind be clear or numb, or just be. And I feel that makes something difference in your mind.
Yeah,
So
I'd say that's meditating. Thing is,
yeah,
bro, like you were talking earlier about this energy and having this energy. Thing is, man, we all have this untapped energy that's just deep inside of us. And for example, let's say you break up with your girlfriend and you're eating all this food. Food is a source of energy. You're at home, you're eating all this food, and you have no energy, and you just can't get yourself to move. One day, your girlfriend calls you and she's like, I'm so sorry. I made a huge mistake and I want to come back to you. Can I come to you right now? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have this huge energy where you start cleaning
Yeah.
everything up. Where does that come from?
oh, good point. Okay,
What
let's talk
is that
about-
energy,
yeah.
man?
Yeah.
What is that thing behind? You have your brain, right?
Yeah.
You have your brain that does all this chemical stuff in your body. Then you have your mind. Your mind is the thing that's trying to, you can't control the outside world. And so you have this internal voice in your mind
Yeah.
that constantly narrates the outside world, and it creates the outside world internally because that's something you can control.
Yeah.
So it's your way of gaining control.
But also, wouldn't it be more of saying like, now that guy was pushed because his girlfriend is coming.
Yeah.
Suddenly he didn't find any excuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Till then it was excuses of, oh, I'm lazy, I'm tired, I don't have to do it, who cares? The minute his girl is coming, his only crystal clear focus was to clean the place up, right? So it can also be in the way of, end of the day, it is your mind, right? What else can you control? Yeah, your actions, your behavior, whatever, but it's the mind that directs me to even be
The
here,
brain,
right?
the
Or
body.
do that, or
Yeah.
do this, right? And I think that is it's how you function it, or how you mold it, or how you enhance it.
But this is what I mean, bro. This is what meditation is about. And this is
Yeah.
what I fucking love
Yeah.
about meditation. You're talking about how you control your mind, how you do this, how you do that. The people think they are the mind. They think they are that voice that speaks. But you're saying how you control. So there's something behind that voice that's there. There's something that's there, and that's consciousness.
Intuition.
Intuition, consciousness. It's just this
Dude,
deep
that
thing
is
inside.
something I vouch by what. See,
That's what meditation is connecting to.
This is even when I pray, or when I have. So I do a lot of these affirmations of my prayers itself. in
I swear I've
between.
heard you like whisper when you like before we came in.
Yeah.
Even now, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's prayer.
It's a prayer,
I
and
love that,
I'm just
man.
used to doing that so often. Like when I'm gratitude, when I have certain things. Shit, dude, my point was so good right now. What I wanted to tell you, it just got lost with
Think
it.
about it. Think about it.
When I pray, when I ask something, right? So, literally, it's so crazy, but believe me, it's magically true. I don't understand. People don't really know. I have got this far because I have understood something what people don't understand. You know what I mean? That's why I'm here also. In your podcast, right? There's something I've understood that so many people don't understand.
And words might not be able to explain.
Okay, words might not be able to explain it, but there is a superpower. There's a power, actual power. When I mean power, I don't mean like, oh, metaphoric. No. There's a power in you. And the more you enhance that power, or you believe in that power, or that power is you, and you visualize the outcomes of the events you want with the assurity of the outcome, you will see that you are doing magic. You know what I mean? That is something people don't realize. That is something I have got a pinch of understanding to begin with. A pinch. Now, when I pray, we're talking about intuition, I feel that voice is something, that voice is a very powerful one, yeah? It's like this little guy that's somewhere sitting and meditating and levitating, probably half the way was giving you answers.
Yeah.
But when I have prayed or said something, I hope this works like this. When I close my eyes and I get this voice, I genuinely get the answer on how to go about it.
It's like it's always there. It's not like it comes to you, but it's like revealed.
It's there, it's revealed, and it's very, and dude, I believe me, I literally would be in my room just doing that, and I'll close, I'm like, I just really hope, how do I do this? I go about it. And I get the voice. And it's like one word answers, it's a line, it's sentences.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, okay, that's what I have to do. That's literally what I have to do.
What is that?
And
Like,
in
I
the
know
middle
it's
of the
intuition, but
yeah.
what is the thing saying that?
And it is genuinely, it's very clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear. It's not an elaborated answer.
Yeah.
Literally a liner, one liner. And I go by that line word by word.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm waiting for that. Like, so when I say something in that mode, in that silence, I get my answer. I
Yeah.
generally get. So I'm telling you, people don't understand how powerful they actually are. And actually, there's a power you have in terms of molding your reality as well
Yeah.
and
I
getting
believe in that.
answers for your life. But people just think about it, oh, this is just another universe talk. No. If people who think like that, it'll always be there only. That's cool
Because
with
it's a
them.
trend, right?
But
Like what you're saying is manifesting essentially,
yeah.
right? But it's
way
become a
powerful.
trend.
It's become way powerful.
Yeah.
It's become, people don't understand the power of it.
How do you do it, bro? How do you manifest? How do you personally
For me, certain
manifest?
outcomes I want in certain things I do. It's not something I practice every day, but certain times where I've really with wholeheartedly practiced it, I literally will spend, other than working on the event to do what I am meant to be there for, I'll only picture the very outcome as soon as I'm done.
Yeah.
For example, recently what I did, I was in Ras Al Khaimah for an event of a company that was hosting their annual function, annual town hall, and I wasn't very prepared for that speech. It was like um, little. I had days, so I was also running with a lot of things in the back. But when I went for that speech, and I was like, shit, I hope I do good. I hope I do, because the first time they're hearing me, I only picturized. I knew what outfit I was wearing, so I picturized my outfit. There are a bunch of people in front of me, and they're all getting up and clapping for me, and everyone is just doing this, and I'm some random faces in my head. You know what I mean? Of people doing this and wow and appreciating me, and giving me a standing ovation. And I, over the 3-4 days I had, I was only having this picture in my mind, consciously, this picture. Believe it or not, right after I spoke, the same thing happened.
No way.
Everyone got up. I wanted a standing ovation. Everyone got up. Everyone clapped.
Wow.
In the way I visualized it to be.
Wow.
That is the power of manifestation.
I remember this one time when I was in Dubai, and I had said I'm quitting university. I had basically quit drugs, and when I was going into rehab, I was like, I'm not going to do university anymore. I'm going to move to Dubai and I'm going to live my life here. And something told me, at least get your stuff back from UK, right? All my stuff was there. I just came for a holiday, Christmas holiday, and I decided I'm going to live here now. I remember something told me, go get your stuff. It was my mom, but something was telling me as well, like, go get your stuff. And while I was in the UK, I was getting my stuff. I was meditating, and something told me, you need to live here. Just move back. It's fine. Things will sort itself out. Your friends will change. Your environment will change. You're not doing drugs anymore, so your experience will change. Just do it. So I would meditate, and I would just see this room constantly. I would constantly see this one room again and again and again and again. And my mom was like, why don't you just go check out some of the dorms? So I kept checking out the dorms. I checked like 3 or 4, but none of them were good. I didn't like them. I'm like, okay, this is not going to happen. Leave it. I'm going to go. And my mom kept telling me, pick one of them, pick one of them. I'm like, I was like, I'm not going to pick the dorms. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Anyways, one day, my friend in the UK invites me to a party. And I'm at her dorm. I'm at this party. And we're in like the common room drinking, whatever. I was not drinking because I had quit. And she's like, hey, like, I want to go get something from my room. Can you please come with me? I was like, why? But anyways, sure. I go into her room, and it's the same fucking dorm in my meditation. Wow. The exact same one. And I was like, is this your dorm? And she's like, yeah, this is our dorm. And she's like, by the way, someone in this block decided they want to leave, so there's a opening for one of the rooms. I go into the room, and it's the exact same empty room, because hers was with furniture and everything. Yeah. But I go into that empty room, and I meditate in it, and I'm like, this is the room. The exact same room, bro. And I was like, this spirituality, manifesting, something about this, bro, is real. Even I don't understand it whole, but I just know the power is insanely
wild,
immense,
right?
Wild
out there. Like I said about religion, it's to start with that topic over there back. People don't know, believe me, and people have just molded and made stories out of it, and that's what my understanding is. That's why I would never seek an answer from some religious leader, because I feel it's a very personal understanding one has to embrace and one has to go through and one has to understand and make meaning of
Yeah.
in their own version of way it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Oh, but that's an insane story.
Yeah, man. There was another one where I found out the power of spirituality. This is before I started meditating. I remember I was in my dorm about to go to a party. This is back when I was doing drugs. And I am basically like rolling a joint, right? I'm in my like study, my dorm, and I'm just rolling this joint. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna go out, have fun. And all of a sudden, bro, I just start crying. And I'm not someone that just cries that often, but I start bawling my eyes out, man. And I'm like, why the hell am I crying? I'm about to go to a party. I'm smoking a joint. Like, why the hell would I be crying right now? Anyways, fast forward, I messaged my mom. And this is something I would never do. Tell my parents about my emotions. I would never do this. But I decided I'm going to tell her. I don't get a response. I don't get any response. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. I smoke and I move on with my life. Later on, my mom calls me and she's like, I was doing a meditation at the center for healing and healing your family. And when you had messaged me at that time, that's when I was doing the meditation. And she has a friend that was there as well. And even her friend was like there to prove that this was true. Because I was a very skeptical person. So I was like, there's no way. But
when she was meditating for you, you were in tears that time.
She was in Dubai at a meditation center, meditating to heal trauma for family. I was in the UK, rolling a joint, getting ready to go to a party. No idea what my mom was doing. She had no idea what I was doing. But somehow, that meditation she did connected, and I just started crying my eyes out. And I was like, it's just spirituality, religion, there's something about it that's just real, man. And I know science only looks at things they can prove, but electricity is something you can't see, but there's proof of, right? You can't see it, but your phone charges,
and
so there's proof.
So many people,
Same thing with spirituality,
over time, who's speaking about it.
Yeah.
And people don't listen to it.
Yeah.
And I think so many people say about practices like 369.
Yeah.
Writing down 369. And I used to write it down. Then I kind of slacked at that habit of doing it. And I really want to get back at it. It's basically whatever you want, you write it 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night.
Yeah.
And apparently I have a close friend of mine who told me the same thing. She's like, Sujith, you should adopt this. And so yeah, I started it, but then I slacked up a bit. But I really feel those are things I have to get back into as well.
Yeah.
You will see a change in your life, which is, like I said, magical.
Yeah.
It is magical, but people don't accept it. People think it's all this universe talk and all, and I'm telling you, people have been talking about it.
Yeah.
So many people are over the past, and many famous people are talking about the power of manifestation.
100%.
How they visualize the outcome that they really want in their life with being in a position of complete unfavorable outcomes.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, that's got to say something, right?
Yeah, I've been saying this in podcasts a lot, but I just want to say real quick, like, shout out to pain and suffering. Because if I did not go through pain and suffering, if you did not go through pain and suffering, you wouldn't have changed permanently and we wouldn't be here today.
The choices we made at that time.
And so I want to say shout out to pain and suffering. Shout out to us for making those choices. And man, I think we've been going on for 2 hours now.
And you're not alone. People should know that you're not alone.
Facts.
People have lived that journey. I have lived it. He has lived it. And we have been through so much. You know, people say one thing when yeah, but you had this one, you had that one. No, I didn't have. Like, for me, it was completely unfavorable in many ways. I only had family support and love, like, from them to do something. But look at the other side of things. Like, oh, damn, dude, it was so bad. Like, I was not feeling half my body. Everything was unfavorable.
Yeah.
So people should know you're not alone. You have people who have done it. You have people who have who have overcome it. And you have people who are excelling at it. Yeah? So there is support out there.
And just remember as well that your past does not define you. Your genetics and your parents' genetics do not
100%.
define you.
100%.
None of that defines you. Psychology says it does, but it doesn't. I studied psychology. It does not. What defines you is the sum of habits that you invest your energy and consciousness and focus into today. That's all that makes you who you are.
And it doesn't matter where you are, what you did, how bad you messed up. Doesn't matter. Even until yesterday. You want to change today? That is the question. Do you want to make those choices today? Then you can do it. That's why I say it's never too late.
Every day is
never
like
too late.
Every day, every minute, every second is an opportunity to change. Today, you look at, like you're talking about looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you. If you look at yourself in the mirror today, you look at yourself in the mirror tomorrow, there will be more than 1 million cells that were there yesterday that have died. And there will be more than 1 million cells that weren't there yesterday but have formed. So, yes, you look the same, but your body, like the way it functions, you're a completely new human being every single day. And I think people
you have a chance, you have a choice to make a different outcome, literally. And it's just, like I said, even until yesterday, it doesn't matter. As long as you start today, as long as you decide to start today.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to end it, because we're definitely
off time.
It's been 2 hours. We could go on for so much longer. But Sujith, do you have like a last some last message? I was gonna say last words, but that sounds that sounds way too. That sounds like
it's killing me.
That sounds like you're dying
on this podcast.
Yeah, last words sounds a bit wrong, but do you have like a last message that you want to give before you plug yourself and your Instagram and everything you're doing?
You are one decision away from a completely different life.
I love that.
I'll leave you at that. I'll leave you at make better choices in your life. Few things you want to do. You want to change. I know a lot of people want to know the main key points of it, right? You want to change your life? Start seeing how you've been living from the past months, years. What all have you been investing your 24 hours in? Write out the 4-5 things that you want your life to revolve around. That could be your work, your passion, the hobbies that you want to adopt in your life. And make sure your entire 24 hours is only spent on those few things. And very importantly, I have to end it with this, but very importantly, learn the power of the word N. Learn the power of the word no. You have to say a lot of no's to get those things in your life actioned. So write down a plan, surround your entire life with the things that you only want to do, your 24 hours, the only things that you want to do, and learn the word say no.
I love that, man. Thank you so much for being here, bro.
Absolute pleasure.
It was meant to be 1 hour. We went on for 2 and 2 plus.
Wow.
And I think we could go on for much longer, because I have a lot to ask that I didn't get to ask. Where can people find you? What are your next things that you want people to be aware of? And can we hear your song?
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram, which is Sujith Story, Sujith Story. On LinkedIn, it's Sujith Varghese. Again, Facebook, Sujith Varghese. You can find me there. And what's next in line is very interesting. So I'll announce it here. So I am at the verge of getting launched as a DJ.
Amazing.
So I've been learning from the past 2-3 months. Shout out to DJ RB. But yeah, so getting in the final stages of it. So that's something I'm very passionate about. And I have finally had some good planning to learn it and, getting there. So it's a very short while away. And the rap. Okay. So I'm thinking which one, because I've spit almost the same thing in different places, So I'll say, okay, let me spit this one, yo. Sometimes there are thoughts that are awful whack. Gotta confess, it's like repelling mad. So I'm down with this. Listen, don't distract. All I want to do is get you back on track. In my time, I've made some mistakes, doing some things that were not in my place. But I feel so enraged that my life is a game. No matter what I do, I'm back the same place. There are days I wish I could move my legs. Stop the violence goes over my head. I got the bars, but let me show you some scars that I got in this fight. You probably disregard me to the 1, to the A, to the Z. Still be screaming out SKV. I hate to say this, but life has changed. Sometimes the God that I don't relate. Close the doors, too many that came, but babe, I now see the flare we shared. K to the A to the R to the I. Let me take you last time on a memory ride. Slit on a side and she looks so great. Couldn't take my eyes off your pretty face. Out came a storm just for a name on a page and left the girl with her kisses on a stage. Probably lost the girl that I love so much. Took it to the distance, but I still never budge. Roller coaster, but she loved my hugs. God, I'm loving this big bad tug. But life the one that's just playing this game, confusing me with the truth of the fame. Step back, cause my fear run tame, but I'm back like Bane on enemy's lane. I'm to change, get my haters in place. Listen, boys, I ain't back down from a race, cause I'm born the same and I fought my way. Come at me, you probably go insane.
Wow. World star. Nah, that was amazing, man. I'm excited. Wow. thank you again for being here, man. Thank you so much for your time and energy and effort and stories and everything you've gone through to be able to say this. It was a pleasure to have you on the second season. For everyone that's watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment. If you have anything that you want to say to Sujith, like message him on Instagram and write it down. Tell him how you find him inspiring. Ask him any questions. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it, man. Thank you guys so much.